Listen to this video.
And the theme of this year is no! Staki siendi, sifanyi, siendi, sijali, sidai. Na hata sijui, to be honest.
Growing up, I've always been the good girl. I was a skilled people pleaser. I was always a yes person. I would say yes even when it was not a resounding yes. And even if I said no, I would find myself over explaining myself. I could not stand the fact that someone would be upset with me. I felt that urge to want to go back to that person whom I'd said no and just say yes. I was having this feeling of guilt. I was that friend who everyone who was struggling would seek out for advice and comfort, even when they'd hurt me, because they knew very well that I would not turn them away or judge them. It's what pushed me to say it's okay, even when it was not okay when someone apologized. I would put other people's needs above my own. All someone needed to do to get my attention was to somehow display their pain, even with their body language. And I would absorb that like sponge. I would give room to so many people that left me so depleted. If you are an empath, then you can totally relate to this because empaths are highly sensitive and they take other people's emotions as their own. Putting responsibility on other people to not project their emotions on you is unreasonable because people will do that. You have to develop tools and strategies to balance accepting yourself as an empath while also knowing how to not bleed at the sight of someone else's pain or your own pain. Do not put your emotional well being at the mercy of the feelings of those around you. For you to do that, you have to remind yourself that you are worthy of the love that you give to other people. You are not selfish for wanting that same kind of love. You are not self absorbed if you choose to prioritize yourself. That love that is within you was not only meant to live so that you are left empty. It's meant to be used so that you fill your cup first, and then you'll have that ability to give more love to others. Even though you might not have a choice on how you initially react at seeing someone else's pain, this is a reminder that it's a choice on whether and how to invest in those emotions. Imagine the emotions of others coming at you like arrows. Instead of absorbing them, you pause and then you ask yourself, is this emotion mine to carry? Number two, am I being asked to carry this emotion? And if yes, do I want to carry this emotion? Do I have the time and energy to do so? If the answer is yes, then you decide the level of investment that you want to make. If the answer is no, you tell yourself that you have the right to decide not to carry the other person's emotion. And if the answer is no, you leave the other person's emotion outside your bubble. This bubble will stop you from emotionally bleeding to the point of depletion and protect the empathy that you have within you. Giving is noble, loving is noble, but not if you are not included in that giving and loving. If you have always been this way, maybe you should ask yourself where in your childhood did you develop this way of being? I know for a fact that I learned to give emotionally from my dad. I am convinced that he's the kindest person that you'll ever meet. He was always giving and giving to a point of depletion and exhaustion. He never asked, what about me? And for the longest time, I knew that's what meant being a good hearted person. And every time I would deplete myself in giving and wondering why none of that was being reciprocated, I would feel selfish for even wondering that. I would feel guilty in wanting to receive something, as if wanting to receive anything in return would taint my intention behind why I gave in the first place. And I'd put my ego in check and redirect my intention to what it originally was. But that only soothed my shame. It didn't fix the problem. I believe that being good meant putting everyone else ahead of me or never putting myself ahead of anyone else because the latter meant that I was selfish or impure. I didn't understand that my upbringing with a dad as good as mine caused me to go about self-love the wrong way. And the question is, if giving love to other people is noble, what about giving love towards myself? That's not selfish, and that's for sure. As an empath, I know there's that urge to want to fix other people's problem, to soothe their pain. So this is a reminder that other people's emotions are not your assignment. It's okay to acknowledge whatever they are feeling. What's not okay is absorbing whatever they are feeling into your body. And that energetic field will protect your peace. You have to learn that saying no is a complete sentence. I know if you're a highly sensitive person, saying no can trigger immense guilt. I've been there before. Because I've always been a yes person, even when it was not a resounding yes. I could not stand someone being upset with me. I will say no and have that urge to run to that person and say yes. So you have to push through that discomfort. You have to stop over explaining yourself why you can't help, why you can't show up, why you need your time alone. You have to accept that if someone takes your boundary personally, that's a reflection of their expectation and not your selfishness. It's natural for empaths to pour their energy outward. If you are an empath, it's high time that you start investing that deep empathy inward and practice self compassion instead of giving it all away to people who leave you drained. The idea of upsetting someone can feel really uncomfortable. But then we have to realize that people who benefited from our lack of boundaries, self respect will look like malice. And then we become the villain for simply protecting our sanity. And that's how we become truly free because you can't pour from an empty cup. Your villain era begins the moment you decide that loving yourself is more important than keeping everyone else comfortable. Something else that has been helping me is having a time buffer that is never agreeing to a request, an invitation, or emotional venting session on the spot. I take time to process my feelings away from their energetic field. And this could look like me saying, look, I want to give this the attention that it deserves. I can't look at my schedule. I can't commit to anything right now. Let me get to you tomorrow morning. That breaks the reflex to automatically say yes just to soothe the tension in the room. When people treat you like an emotional dumping ground just because you're a great listener, you don't have to shut them down completely. You could say something like, look, I love you and I want to support you, but I don't have the emotional bandwidth to hold the space for this heavy topic today. Can we talk about something lighter or let's catch up when I feel a bit more charged? That right there works because you are honoring the relationship while also firmly protecting your current capacity. You are also teaching people that your empathy is a finite resource, it's not an open tap. And lastly, you can practice compassionate refusal. You acknowledge other people's situations without making it your job to fix. Let's say someone invites you and you are not in a space to honor the invitation. This is what you're going to say. Thank you for thinking of me about this, but I have to pass. My plate is completely full. As simple as that. No long explanations because long explanations can look like negotiation, but a clean refusal, you give no room to counteroffer. This is a reminder. If you set a boundary and someone gets upset because you set that boundary, that means they can no longer access you at your own expense. Okay?